I've struggled with OCD most of my life, so I had that kind of already going on, and just the combination of, alcohol and OCD and PTSD, stuff like that, just kind of all came crashing down on me, and I was in a bad place.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Handforged. I am your host, Frank, here today with Nick Pecos, with Pecos Aesthetics. Been working on that word all day. So it's funny with Nick, I found a video from somebody that shared one of his things on like a Newburyport groups page, and I was like, oh, it's kind of cool. Sounded like a cool story. I reached out, invited him on, and he took the drive from Westminster this morning to come out and hop on. Appreciate you. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. Happy to be here.
Cool. So I am your host. I'm Frank. I am a 25-year trades guy. Started in trades when I was 15 years old as a better ultimatum than going to jail. Couple trades guys took me under their wing and introduced me to the trade. This podcast is to bring some pride and integrity back into that. The trades are the backbone of this country. We built a lot of this stuff, all of this stuff, and it seems like to me that the trades have this dirty kind of stigma where there's no money to be made and it's hard work, and, not a lot of people want to do it. And, it should be the opposite. There is money to be made here as long as you're taking some pride in what you're doing and you know what you're doing. And it's a great place to work. It's a good alternative avenue to college. I got expelled from high school sophomore year. I don't have a college degree. I didn't finish high school, and I'm pretty successful. And the trades gave me that opportunity. This podcast is giving back to the opportunity. So if you're listening, please like, subscribe, follow the content, follow the guest content, and it's pretty much all I ask. So, Mr. Nick, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem, man. I saw some of your stuff, man, kind of followed your story a little bit, and I was like, I got to have this guy on. We gotta have a good conversation. I think you have a good story. It sounds a little similar to mine, different avenue, but kind of same path. Mm-hmm. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you and what you're doing now?
Sounds good. Thank you again for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and I really like the mission that you're describing for this podcast. Sounds great. Happy to be a part of it. So yeah, I'm into woodworking now, DIYing, CNCing. I have a YouTube channel that's what my channel is about right now. I got into woodworking over 10 years ago, shortly after returning home from a deployment to Afghanistan. Kind of in a bad way, going down a bad road, developed, struggled with alcohol. I've struggled with OCD most of my life, so I had that kind of already going on, and just the combination of, alcohol and OCD and PTSD, stuff like that, just kind of all came crashing down on me, and I was in a bad place. Went to a recovery facility, kind of got my shit together.
We can swear. We can swear.
Okay.
Yeah. We'd be shut down if we couldn't, man. I suck at it.
Okay. So got my stuff together a little bit, and then found woodworking in the aftermath of it. I was kind of, once I first got sober, I was a little bit lost, trying to find my way, and just picked up a piece of wood, started playing with it literally. No
pun intended.
Yeah, started making some stuff, realized there's this whole creative side to my brain that I never knew existed. Just really enjoyed doing it. Started off just making stuff for around the house, making stuff for my wife. And then it grew into a business. I started making American flags with CNC designs in them, stuff like that. And that was really fun because I was making stuff for a lot of people that I knew. I started off making stuff for guys in my unit mostly, and figured out that a lot of people were into this. Family members want to honor people's military service, and then it kind of extended into police and fire and stuff like that. Started making logos, adding them to the flags, and it took off a little bit for me. So took off enough that I could use it, the income from it, to pay for the tools and expand my shop. And that's really all I used it for, and I loved it. It was fun. Let me tap into my creative side. Recently, I went to PA school, so I'm an exercise science undergrad, and if I had to do my life over again, I probably would get into the trades work and go the carpentry route. But I kind of did that later in my life, and I had already gotten a degree in exercise science, and I wasn't going to let it go to waste given how much it was to get it.
Yeah.
So I went to PA school. It was kind of a, no-brainer transition with the exercise science background in biology and exercise physiology and all that. And I just, the type of personality, especially since I stopped drinking, where I like to challenge myself. I like to keep myself busy, and PA school was certainly that. I mean, the application process was probably just as hard, if not harder, than getting in the school itself. So it was a year and a half of going through the application process to get in. And then 2 years of school, and then now I've been on the job as internal medicine PA at UMass Memorial Center for 2 years. And it's definitely been busy, but it kind of made me take my wood shop in a different direction in that I didn't have quite as much time to sell things anymore, nor did I really want to. I got to the point where my shop is in my garage. It's 24 by 24. I got all the main tools that I need at this point, and the main goal of the shop is to just be creative and have fun.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where over the last couple months, starting in November, I decided to start a YouTube channel because it lets me be creative and have fun. And at some point, if I can grow the channel, I can continue to support the shop. It'll be nice to have a stream of income on the side that'll help support the shop and let me keep trying new things. And
Are you still doing stuff with the American flags?
No, not really. I still have people reach out from time to time. I did a lot of advertising on Facebook to try to grow the presence awareness, and I have past customers reach out to me that I've made flags for in the past, reach out and ask if I'm still doing it. But there's the YouTube thing. My God, it is so much work. Just the editing, I never would have imagined. I'm 4 months into it. I'm learning a ton of stuff every day, and I feel like the more I learn, the longer it's taking me to create a video, edit it, get it on YouTube, get a decent response.
What about so if you took your raw content, right, and just sent it to a company to have them edit it, make your shorts, make your videos, all that type of stuff, take a lot of time off of your plate, cost you a little bit of money, but save you some time. Is that an avenue?
It is, and one I've explored. I actually, this may not have been the best approach, but I'm learning as I go. I found this page about finding video editors for YouTube content, and I basically just put a message out saying I was looking for an editor. I figured if I could find someone that could edit my work for me, that's going to save me 60% of the time, and then I could focus more on the content creation and making good quality videos. And I found an editor. I was working with him for about a month, but it was just I was spending too much time trying to convey to him what I wanted the message to be of the videos, and I found myself having to really, tie it in a package with a bow for him to be able to deliver that. I was spending almost as much time communicating with him, trying to get him on the same page as me with how to create the video and what things to express. Obviously I'm a woodworking channel, and there were times where I'd say the word jointer or planer, and he'd flash a picture of a drill press in the video, and I'm like, this isn't really working out all that great. So we ended up parting ways about a month ago. He did good work for me while he was doing it, but it just wasn't worth the time and the money I was putting into it.
What do you use to edit? I'm jumping in, John.
I was going to ask you a question, so I'm glad you hopped in.
I'm curious. What do you use to, do you use Final Cut?
I use Premiere Pro.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
just curious.
John, how long do you think, in an application like that with what he's trying to do, right? If he were to send you raw content, it's obviously going to take some time for you to figure out exactly what he's looking to do and how he's trying to do it. How long do you think that would take before you were both on the same page?
Not too long, but I mean, are you using text-based editing? I imagine the biggest time suck is going through your takes and everything, right? And or is it kind of getting B-roll on top?
So I'm getting into, I think, what I'm learning over the last couple of weeks anyway, and this is a daily learning experience. I need more B-roll and getting more B-roll into the filmmaking process. I think my first couple of months of videos were okay. The message I was delivering was good. The content was okay, but it was my retention rates weren't great.
Right.
And I think I need to do more of the B-roll and keeping people engaged. And so lately, finding B-roll, organizing it all, it's so much more editing when you're doing B-roll because every 10 seconds I'm trying to get something in there, and then I'm
Well, what's the videos? What's your channel? Like, what do you put out? What do people tune in for?
So basic woodworking skills, woodworking project walkthroughs, and CNC stuff. A little bit of DIY too. I wish I had started the channel last year because I built a deck for our house and a shed for our backyard. It was more not specifically woodworking, but DIY type stuff. But I haven't done a whole lot of that since I started the channel. So right now the main focus is woodworking and CNCing.
So just real quick for the stupid people like me, what the fuck is B-roll?
That's the clips over you talking.
Oh, gotcha.
So A-roll is the people talking. B-roll is on top.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Last question
Thank you.
from me. Shit, what was it? You distracted me. It just came in and out of my head.
John's sick, so we'll give him a little pass.
Yeah. Jesus. Oh, are you using AI at all to like help you with the process before you film?
A little bit for the videos themselves. I use ChatGPT to throw me together a quick description for, when I'm posting the YouTube video on the YouTube site.
I would say you can customize ChatGPT or basically any AI, what your like mission is, your overall strategy. Like I want to create videos that teach people how to do woodworking that they can do on their own, whatever. Just get a good description that you come up with, put the human injection into the AI, and then you can use, they call them custom GPTs, but you can build one for your channel that is just basically a clone of you, and then you can go to it to help you plan videos, and it's going to have that baseline knowledge of like what you do and how your videos should be. I'll send you some. I just went to a huge conference in California, and that was like a topic. So
I would love that.
But that would save you probably shitloads of time.
Yeah.
Help you plan, maybe have some scripts, and then you can even use stock footage for B-roll if you need, like if it's not like you showing what you're working.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll send you an email later.
That'd be awesome. I
tips.
appreciate it. Thank you. So
one thing with the podcast is that I have a huge network of people in a lot of different industries. John is the fucking tech guru guy. He's the person that I just refer everybody to that wants to know anything tech-wise, video editing, social media posts, and all that type of stuff. John is kind of the wizard with that. What I love about John and what he does is that he's always on top of what is latest and greatest. What I found with a lot of companies, and I went through a couple, was that they built their business on this is how we do social media marketing. Mm-hmm. They never really changed that business model with the times, and those times move so damn fast. What I like about John, and not to swell his head too much,
Making me blush.
is that he stays on top of that. He goes to conferences. He's always learning new shit. Sometimes too fast, because sometimes he'd be like, hey, Frank, we're going to try this.
For
and
real,
I'm like,
100%.
yeah. Frank, we're going to try this. I'm like, all right, great. And then tomorrow it's like, hey, never mind. We're going to do this instead. I'm like, okay, can we just nail something down?
yeah.
I encourage the pushback.
Yeah. So John's great for that stuff. So John will reach out. Maybe we can help with that part of things.
That'd be great. Appreciate it.
So the mission of what you're doing, I guess let's step back. What branch of the military?
Army.
Army. Thank you for your service, my friend.
Thank you.
How long did you serve?
4 years.
Nice. And you deployed?
I deployed, yeah. So the story with that is my father served in the military. My brother served in the military. Our family changed forever after 9/11, and that my father was in and he got out. He was in the late 80s. And then after 9/11, he got back in. He's a Green Beret with Special Forces. He's a medic. And then my brother joined after 9/11. So it definitely impacted our family big time. He joined the military police. And then he saw the light and switched over to infantry, which was good for him. Because military police I love them, but infantry's the way to go. So I went to school for exercise science. Honestly, I was a track athlete in high school that kind of fit. At the time, I wanted to go to the Olympics and run the 5,000 meters. So I thought, why not learn everything I can about the body and I'll train myself? Good idea. But I was kind of, lost. I was just kind of going with the flow. I graduated from that, and it was kind of like, now what? And that was when I joined the military, and I had always thought about it. Coming from a military family, it had always been a part of my life. Thought it had always been in the back of my mind, but with school, it's tough to change direction, everything like that. But when I graduated, it was a prime time opportunity to join.
How old were you?
So I was 22. So I had the opportunity with an exercise science degree to join as an officer. If you join with a college degree, you can go right to officer candidate school. And I scored decent on the ASVAB test, which is like the test you take when you join the military that they use to see if you're wicked smart or like, dumb as a rock.
Yeah.
I scored pretty well, so I had the option to go to intelligence, something higher up. But I wanted infantry. Like I knew from the moment I thought about joining, I wanted to be on the ground, getting dirty. I wanted to fight, prove myself, make my family proud. That was the whole reason for joining. So I went infantry all the way. Never even considered officer candidate school. And man, I met some interesting people in the infantry. I met a lot of great guys in the infantry, but man, there were just some gems in the
I'm sure.
in the infantry.
Find that in the trades too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think in the trades you get a lot of similar type people.
Yeah.
You get a lot of people with military backgrounds in the trades. I think it attracts a similar group, especially the infantry, because it's hard work. You got to get up early. It's tiring. It's physical labor. So there's a lot of carryover.
Yeah. Strict schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had this kid, Tim, that used to work for me. He was a Marines EOD in the Marines. And he was one of the best guys I ever had work for me. He worked for me, I think it was like 6 years he was with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good dude. He worked hard. Couldn't get him to show up for time. That's pretty much how he said it. Was like, listen, I did this for however many years he was in. Mm-hmm. Got up on time and made sure I was places on time. I'm not doing that anymore. Okay. All right.
Understandable.
Yeah. How do you fight? How do you argue with that?
Yeah.
Like you put your time in. I get it. Just try and be like within an hour of the time you're supposed to be here.
Yeah.
So with what you're trying to do now, so you get out of the military, you kind of find woodworking. It helps, kind of focus your mind, right? Because I think that a lot of us have been down the path of alcohol and drugs. And it seems like the most successful people that I know that have come out of that lifestyle and have been able to find recovery and kind of work through that have found something else to focus on. And obviously you found that with woodworking. You're starting to do the American flags. Have you ever heard of Till Valhalla? It's like a clothing brand.
No, I've never heard of them.
Pretty cool story. You should look into it because it sounds similar to yours. Guy came out. He was active, deployed, ended up, not re-enlisting, coming home, and PTSD, drugs, alcohol, had a real hard time with it, and had a buddy that he was enlisted with that went back in, ended up deploying and dying overseas. And so he made a flag. He made a wood flag for his buddy. And then he was like, oh, man, I can't keep this thing. Like, I got to give it to his mother or his wife or something. So he ended up, like, gifting it to her. And then a bunch of people started reaching out, like, hey, can you make me a flag? Can you, so he had this big backlog of, like, flags that he had made, but he didn't have any money.
Yeah.
So he started making T-shirts, and the clothing brand's called Till Valhalla. And so he started making T-shirts and selling T-shirts to fund his flag program, what he was doing. And now it's like a huge, huge clothing line, makes a lot of money. It's a big company. He's got a bunch of employees, and still to this day is making flags and donate them to families and that type of stuff. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty similar to how I started with the flags. Just, I made my first one for my dad. I put a Special Forces logo on it, still hanging in our house. He loved it. Friends and family loved it. They were like, you should start selling these. So I started just word of mouth, telling people about it. And I knew enough people in the military that I got all kinds of family members that wanted things made for loved ones. Made one for my father-in-law, who's a fire chief over at Groveland. He loved it. And then started doing the Facebook kind of advertising thing a little bit and I had more business than I could handle most of the time.
Yeah. I feel like those businesses tend to catch fire. Because everybody wants to do something special for those people, and it's like if you can have like a handmade piece from somebody who was in the military, it just holds a lot of value.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to be able to do for people. So with the business, so you're building the flags, kind of got into doing some commission pieces of woodworking, and then it turned into too much. So now the YouTube channel is more educational.
It is. It's more about providing people with what I had, in that I never took any formal woodworking classes. I mean, I took a couple. I don't know if you heard of a company called Woodcraft.
Yeah.
There's a couple of stores in Boston. They do a
There's one
couple
up in
of,
Portsmouth too.
yeah, they do a couple 2-3 hour sessions on the weekend, and I went and I did a couple of those. But other than that, I have no formal education in woodworking. It was basically me getting in the shop, getting my hands dirty, trying things, messing a lot of stuff up.
Oh yeah.
And watching YouTube videos.
Yep.
So that's kind of how I want to give back. It sounds cliche, but that's the base of it, is that I want to now make those videos, show how I learn, show what I do, so people can watch them and learn the same thing.
Yeah.
And if I can make a little income on the side with it to support it and keep going and allow me to continue being creative, there's new YouTube's or woodworking's a growing entity. There's, new tools coming out, things like that. So I definitely won't be able to afford those with the income I make. So, getting a little income stream from this on the side as well helps me stay creative and be engaged. And I'm 8 years sober now, but staying involved, staying engaged is what keeps me sober. So
Right.
It's important for me to keep that going.
Yeah. Yeah. Idle hands.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you done videos on like making the flags?
I haven't. I have one kind of in the works that I'm starting to begin working on. I did a little YouTube research. There's a lot of videos out there about that process, so I'm going to have to find a way to spin it to make myself stand out a little bit. But yeah, I'm working on something.
Yeah, I think that, for like that business model, and I don't want to sound cold business owner, but like I always think marketing is that like, if you have, because you got a good story, right? And you want to get that story out there because people want to do business with people they want to support, right? So like get the story out there. This is kind of how it started with the woodworking. This is why I'm doing it. Make the flags, do some videos on making the flags. I think that would probably get you some engagement. I think that people would be really interested in that. I'd be interested in that, because I feel like
a great idea.
the flags are like, there's a lot of ways to go about that. I made a couple of flags and like, there's a lot of things that you can do.
Yeah, it's 1,000 different ways you
Right.
can make it unique.
There's a cool guy. There's a guy that I was watching not too long ago that does 2-inch thick flags, and he uses like a flap disc on a grinder and like makes the waves and the ripples and the flags. And then you can use torches, you can use the epoxies, just so much stuff that you can do. And then but you have the CNC, which is also awesome.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game. When I got enough money to buy that thing, that's when I really kind of went from making a flag here and there for family and friends to it becoming more of a business, a legit business. And now I had a Shipoko. It was a 4-foot by 4-foot machine, but a very beginner model. When I moved to our new house and after making the flags for about 2 years, I had enough money to buy an Avid CNC. It's a 4-foot by 8-foot table. It's got a 3-horsepower spindle. It's like it's a beast. Lets me do cabinet work and stuff too.
Yeah, because you can do full sheets.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm starting to get into. But it's just, in terms of, wanting to be creative and engage that right side of your brain, like the CNC really lets me take off.
Yeah, for sure. And do it efficiently.
Yep.
That's one thing I never had in my shop, dude. Like it was always one of those things like, I got to get a CNC. I got to get a CNC.
It's newer. I feel like it's just starting to become like mainstream and more accepted. And still, if you talk to guys that have been woodworking for 10, 20 years, you'll definitely get the guys that are like, you idiot. CNCing is not woodworking. And I get it. It's almost like cheating. It creates such perfect pieces and it's automated and you're not using your hands. But there's a big learning curve figuring out the software, the CAD and CAM software to run it and all the tweaks you have to do, learning the bits. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I feel like it's like anything else, man. New tools come out and then you have the old school guys that are like, no, that's not, that's not part of this. Like you can't use that. But it's, it's another fucking tool in the toolbox.
Yeah.
And it's a really big fucking tool in the toolbox.
Yeah.
You don't have to use it for every project. But if you're going to pump out cabinets, why would you not cut your boxes out on fucking CNC?
Exactly. They come out perfect every time.
Right. Yeah. It's funny, like with woodworking, I don't really know a lot of people that like have gone to school for it. Like you get the Bennett Street School of Woodworking. There's one down in Boston. I've never actually met anybody from that school, I don't think. Everybody that I know has learned like some way like us. Like this guy, Donald Breer. I met him through the New Hampshire Guild of Woodworkers back when I was, had the wood shop and shit. And he learned, so he sells vases, segmented turning. Have you ever seen that?
I have.
So it's like pieces of wood that are glued together in rings, and then you glue all the rings together, and then you turn them into whatever you want to turn them into.
Yeah, something for the future.
Yeah.
Get myself a lathe for the shop.
Yeah, dude, lathe, if you've never turned, like it's like meditative. It's just like you get into it and it's like a little dangerous. So it's like a little scary and like, and then you start carving and it's like, dude, that feeling of like running a tool through the wood while it's spinning is unlike anything else. But so Donald Breer sells vases, right? He was selling vases, probably 3 feet tall, say, and then 1.5 foot in diameter, maybe a foot in diameter. He was selling vases for $7,000 to $10,000. And those vases would take him 2 to 3 hours worth of time and maybe $50 in material. But he turned all these crazy vases, and it turned into something that people wanted. And then he started using like this like soft stone in some of it, and he'd like do different things. Had a what the hell was he doing? He had a landscaping company full time. So he had like 2 or 3 guys doing cutting lawns, that type of stuff. That's how he made his money. And then when he needed extra cash, you just turn a vase, and like he had a list of people that were waiting for his vases. And I was shooting the shit with him once. I'm like, hey, how'd you get into this? He's like, oh, Concord State Prison. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I did a bid in Concord State, and they have a woodworking program. So the woodworking program at Concord State Prison is fucking phenomenal.
That's awesome. I wish they did classes.
Yeah, right. They have a furniture store, but so he learned how to fucking turn in Concord State, just fucking kind of getting a bid over, and came out of prison with that skill, and now like, makes a ton of money off of it. It's
great,
crazy.
yeah.
Which is like, I feel like a lot of, especially trades guys, man, trades guys always have like some kind of story.
Yeah. For sure.
Like, nobody comes out of fucking 5th grade. It's like, I'm going to be a fucking plumber,
Yeah, definitely.
It's
a little bit more of my background. You just made me think of. So my father was adopted. He didn't know his real dad. Never really cared to meet him. But he was adopted by a guy who was a gunner in a B-52 bomber in World War II. He was an electrician, hardcore trades guy. My dad's a town manager. But he's a tradesman by heart. Like that's how he was raised. His brother is an electrician now. And it's funny, we just went on a hike last week. We hiked Mount Monadnock, and that's kind of like our time to shoot the shit with each other and talk about life and things like that. And we always talk about his dad, and he talks about he makes a lot of decent money now. He sells insurance. He's retired. He's like me. He can't sit still, so he started selling insurance, and he's making good money with it. But he talks about like he doesn't know what to do with it, and he almost feels bad about making it because he was raised, with meager means growing up. He calls himself an electrician's son, and he's raised with those values, those like work hard, don't be greedy, all the core values that are good for, that you see in the tradespeople. And that's kind of how he was raised, and that's how he raised me. So
yeah. And having something tangible, like he's making money selling a product that you don't really see, so there's nothing tangible there, which is hard for any kind of blue collar mind to do.
Yeah.
Like for me now, like I stopped with the tool belt about 4 or 5 years ago now, and I manage the company. And the hardest fucking part was like I'd work a 16-hour day and literally work all day long, right? As hard as I can. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, be like, what the fuck did I do all day? It's like, I don't know, it's crazy. It took a little bit to get used to it. It was really hard for me in the beginning. I was actually going to start buying Lego kits and building Lego kits as I got like my agenda done during the day. So I had something tangible at the end. Yeah. But that's a hard thing. Even now, like, I do a lot of sales and like networking and business development, that type of stuff. And like, it's still like, there's some days where it's like, cool. Like we landed that job. Right. And there's like, money that comes in from that job, and, but the team did most of the work, so it's like, now it's like, I don't know, sometimes it's just strange at the end of the day.
Yeah, hard to wrap your brain around.
Yeah. But I went a different route. So like you kind of, you got into woodworking, did a little bit of the work side of things, started making some money from it. And then, now you have your full-time job and you're trying to kind of do the YouTube channel and keep it as a hobby. I went like full tilt. That was how I fed my family in the business. And it kind of it didn't ruin it for me, but it definitely like took the shiny happiness off of it for me, doing it every day, day in and day out for other people.
Definitely. That's also why I stopped taking commission projects and selling things directly.
Yeah.
And doing the YouTube thing, because now I do make what I want. I mean, that's a big thing. I do what I want to do and not necessarily what I'm being paid to do. And I agree. It definitely can wear quick.
Yeah, it's kind of my goal now, I think. Because like I still have all the tools, right? They're all just stacked in my fucking garage right now, like just sitting there collecting dust. My dust collector is collecting dust, and like it's just like one of these days I want to, and I keep saying that I'm going to get back into like hobby woodworking and like just building shit that I want to build. I had so many cool ideas of shit that I wanted to build. There was this one time I actually got a offer to bid on a military contract to build bulletproof speaking podiums.
Wow.
So like I built a pretty sick speaking podium for a buddy of mine who used to have a sober living facility. And when I was doing it, someone reached out and was like, hey, he has a business where he does a lot of government contract stuff. And he's like, I just saw a contract for bulletproof speaking podiums. Like, you should think about that. So like started thinking about that idea and like how I would build that and like what that would look like. And it'd be so fun to build something like that and then like test it. Like stick somebody in it. Yeah. Be like, all right, listen, you might die, but we're going to shoot at you. Yeah. You're going to sit inside of this thing. We're going to shoot at you.
Heading out to the range is always a good day.
Right. But I don't know. I think it'd be cool. And like, you could make some pretty cool content, like videos of that. And, just like stupid shit like that. I remember when I first started, I used to do a lot of wood carving. It's kind of how I got into woodworking because I don't have nobody really trained me or taught me how to do woodworking. I worked for a furniture company, but I did repairs and like upholstery work and that type of stuff. Like I wasn't building anything. So I was kind of self-taught too. And I did a lot of books and that type of stuff. And then those classes with like woodcraft and the New Hampshire Guild of Woodworkers and that type of stuff. So I was doing wood carving, and one of the first things I ever carved was a rose. Like I carved a rose, about the size of probably like a tennis ball was the head of the rose, and then I did a stem and a little base for it, and that's what really like got me into it. But I would love to get back into like carving wood. Something about pushing a sharp blade through a piece of wood is like just gratifying for me.
Yeah, I don't know anything about sharp blades. I struggle with chisel sharpening, but I think I know what you mean.
It's fucking tough, dude. Well, that's the other side of woodworking, right? People think like, oh, you're making money, like you're building this thing, you're selling it, like, but what people don't realize is like the maintenance and like the sharpening and the tools and like setting everything up. Like that shit takes so much time, man.
Yeah, it does.
I built a 9-foot diameter round table for a house down in Marlborough, Mass. And the family was very wealthy. It was like one of their houses. They had houses all over the world. And so 10 foot in diameter or 9 foot in diameter, 2 inches solid white oak. I did a hand sculpted base on it. Absolutely gorgeous. Sold the table for $12,000. Everybody's like, oh my God, so much money for a table. Like you must have made bank. It's like, man, if I fucking added up all the hours that I spent on that table, I probably made like $9 an hour.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's, you got to sharpen the blades. You got to keep up with the tools. You got to make sure all the settings are right and accurate. And like, it's not that easy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a lot of time and effort goes into it.
Yeah. With the YouTube channel, what do you, I guess you hope to kind of get some people engaged and to teach people and to get people into it. Have you thought about, maybe even trying to get like other service members who are struggling to kind of find the same path?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of the, do you mean like a target audience or do you mean like
I guess
bringing people on?
Man, I hate calling it a target audience. Seems kind of cold, but like, my thing is it like worked for you, right? In your circumstance, it worked for me in my circumstances. Like, and that's why I think sharing that shit is so damn important because like, how did you find it? How did you get into it? What made you say like, I'm going to start working on this piece of wood?
Sitting there with too much time on my hands and an active mind, really. And honestly, I think about that a lot and I can't recall exactly I don't recall doing a lot of woodworking and home renovation type stuff before I joined the Army, but I just really loved it when I got out. The miter saw, I bought my first miter saw. It was a DeWalt miter saw. It was an absolute piece of crap, but I was so excited the day I bought that tool. And man, I built so many projects with just that tool that probably just absolutely sucked, but they were so much fun. And that exciting feeling you get working with your hands and making something that someone's going to use. I mean, I was just making stuff for around our house, but some of the stuff was actually usable, which was surprising to me. And it was just, I don't know, that feeling of accomplishment and endorphin rush you get, satisfaction you get from doing it. That's exactly what I was looking for. That's what I got when I was in the military. I felt like it was important work. I joined, we're still kind of, I deployed in 2011, 2010, 2011, 2012. I think the country was still very much, and still is very pro-military, but it saw a big surge after 9/11.
Yeah.
So feeling that, from people, getting compliments, having people thank me for my service made me feel like I was doing something really important when I was in the military. Gave me a sense of pride doing it. And then you get out, on you're in the military on a Monday, you get out on a Tuesday, and it's like, now what? You lose that. And woodworking gave me a part of that back.
It's like an identity almost.
Yeah, something you can take pride in, and it kind of blends itself to where I'm going with my YouTube channel now, and that the ultimate goal is possibly, if it grows big enough, I can do it full time.
Yeah,
because I love being a PA. It doesn't give me the same satisfaction that woodworking does. It's an important job. I get to help people. I get satisfaction from that. It's a hard job. And, I'm not knocking it in any way, but I just don't get the same rush that I get from woodworking.
Yeah.
I don't get to be creative. I don't, obviously I'm not working with my hands as much. I just don't get the same satisfaction from it. So my ultimate goal with the YouTube channel is have it grow and be successful enough that I can do it full time. Because I would love that. And try to steer clear of, falling into the trap of making it work.
Yeah.
Just having fun with it and continuing to play around.
Yeah, that's going to be tough, man.
It is.
Because as the YouTube channel grows and as you get more and more popular, people are going to want stuff from you. Mm-hmm. Be like, oh, this was built,
Yeah.
So it's like, and then some of that stuff, how much, I think if you're doing it full time, it'll be hard to pass up some of that stuff.
Yeah. For sure.
But, I just think that, again, with the YouTube channel, if you can get the message out there and this is what worked for you and this is what helped, maybe getting some engagement from other members of the military that are getting out with the same issues that can kind of find that same path. I feel like that's again, not a targeted audience. I hate saying that, but a good audience because you're doing something good. You're doing something good. It's helping you, right? It's helping your business. It's helping your goal and kind of what you want to do, but it's also helping to get the word out there and hopefully inspire somebody else to do the same.
Absolutely. Yeah. Woodworking's a great transitional tool for guys coming out of the military. And I hope that people see my channel, find it inspirational, can look at the videos I make and pick up things and learn things like I did. I did come out with a video a couple of months ago now, maybe 6 weeks ago now, about kind of my story, how I got into it, my journey with the military, PTSD, mental health stuff with OCD, how I got into woodworking. Didn't get a ton of engagement. I thought it was going to get a little bit more, but I also made it really shitty. It was one of my first videos. So
yeah.
I think at some point I'm going to go back and remake it and maybe just not have it be so terrible and unwatchable. I'll get a better response. But that's the whole reason behind the channel, is that it's someone out there is watching it and takes something away from it and lets them do what I did, which is, get their life back.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, man. I love when people pursue a passion like that, find some kind of purpose. I feel like, for me, right, I struggled with depression and drug and alcohol use. And for me, I almost took my own life. And I came across this article about finding purpose and how everybody has a purpose. and you live to fulfill that purpose. So all the experiences, every good and bad experience that you have in life is made to give you the tools to pursue whatever purpose you're meant for. And it, reading that article saved my life. And like a lot of what I do now, like this podcast, it costs me money. Like I'm not making any money from this thing, but it's what I do. This is part of my purpose here. It's the reason that I'm here, is to inspire that change, to like let people know that like there is a way out, that you can do it. It takes some work, but you gotta set some goals and kind of get after it. But
For sure.
there is a something bigger at play here. Like there is a purpose that you're meant here for. And like, if you're not pursuing that, you're going to be fucking miserable.
Yeah.
And if, as much as I can get that word out, whether it costs me money or not, like it's what I want to do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if the podcast starts making some money and can pay for itself, great. But if not, continue to do it until, something happens.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, that's exactly what I'm doing at this point too, is I'm shelling out way more money. I'm not making anything from it.
Yeah.
I'm saving a little bit more now that I'm not using the video editor, but I was paying that guy like $150 a week to make videos that were just
not great.
Not great. But yeah, it's like, who cares how much money? I mean, I almost view it like I am getting something out of it. I'm getting fun, enjoyment, fulfillment.
Yeah.
The YouTube, same thing. I hope the YouTube channel takes off at some point and I can get some income back from it, grow it a little bit more. But for right now, it's just fun to work on and watch it grow, up until a couple weeks ago when it kind of went the opposite direction. But yeah, seeing it move forward is really exciting.
Yeah. What changed in the past couple of weeks?
Honestly, I think it had to do with how I was making the videos and using the editor. And I'm not blaming this on the editor. I think just the process of how I was filming them changed, because I was making them myself. So I was involved in the process of creating a script, thinking about the whole video, what I wanted the point to be, filming it. And then I got into just, putting together a bunch of clips on a project and sending them to the editor and saying, do your thing. And I just think maybe they lost a personal touch. I don't know. Again, I was struggling having him kind of convey what message I was trying to convey, and he obviously didn't understand woodworking tools, which was fine, but kind of made the videos tough.
Can I jump in with some updates from
Yeah.
the algorithms and stuff?
Yeah.
I bet you they lost some of that personal touch. Like, people will probably tune in to see your personality, and I bet you maybe the other guy was cutting them up a little too stale or something.
Yeah.
Do you think you showed more personality in the other ones, or was it still you?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
That's something I'm still working on too. Is I've never done camera stuff before, so God, the first couple of videos were it's like watching a robot. I'm getting better at it, but it's definitely something. Camera presence is something I need to continue working on. So that I think that was a big part of it, though.
Yeah, I think as long as you're just real and like you're bringing some value, people will tune in.
Yeah,
and
for
you
sure.
just like get better at the like visual stuff as you go.
Yeah.
I find all that stuff like really interesting, especially like video and content creating, because it's like it's creative in its own right? Like creating a video and like making sure it's good and all that type of stuff is creative by itself. But then you also have to understand the algorithms and engagement and organic and paid for and all this other stuff. And it's like, then it kind of takes that creativity of the video into like a different arena. You know, because it's like you can be super creative on the video and like have all this great content, but if it's not getting out there, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. That's a struggle too. And something I've been thinking about over the last couple of weeks is obviously when I first started, I didn't know anything about the algorithm, retention rates and average view duration and all that stuff that YouTube tracks to either promote your video or not. So I was doing exactly what I wanted to. And lately I found myself trying to research, what are the keywords, looking at other channels, seeing what they're making, what works, what doesn't work. And it feels less creative. So maybe that's a change too, is that I'm getting away from just doing what I want and being me and kind of trying to tailor the videos to what I think people want.
At the end of the day, the platforms just want people to stay on. So if you make stuff that people want to see, they stay on.
Yeah.
That's the algorithm in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Do you think it's more valuable to just create the fucking content that you want to put out there and see what happens? Or do you think it's more valuable to understand all of that other stuff?
It's create and put it out. I mean, if there's, just keep in mind what people want to see and just put it out there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think perfection's the enemy of whatever that saying is.
I don't know.
Completion or something.
Yeah.
But it's just, don't do like too much. Like, it has to be valuable. It has to be what people want to see, and just real authentic how-to, I'm sure, would do well for you. Like, just
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever I find myself getting into the numbers, looking at, all my analytics and things like that, which I'm sure every creator does far too often.
For sure.
It's hard not to. You just get lost in it, and it's a vacuum suck. It just, you're looking at all these numbers and they don't mean anything. And every time I've tried to chase something, like I see a little spike here, maybe I should start doing more of that. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
after you have enough like in the tank, you can look at what kind of does the best and then tailor it to it.
Yeah.
But being consistent is more important than perfect, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's what I like about the podcast, man. Because like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You don't have
mean,
a script. You can just talk about what comes to your heart. And
yeah, and it's not. Again, if it like I told John when this whole thing fucking started, I was like, listen, this is kind of what I'm doing. This is kind of what I want to do. This is what I'm thinking. Let's give it a run. If it fucking crashes and burns, we'll have a good time doing it. Like, get to meet some cool people, hear some fucking cool stories, hopefully inspire fucking just one person, right? If that's all it is, that's all it is. At the end of the day, if I gave it a shot, it didn't go anywhere, but I made an impact.
Yeah.
Right? I don't really... I mean, it's cool to hear. Sometimes John will tell us, like, oh, we just got, 20,000 views, or we hit... What was it? We just hit 20,000 views or something?
I think it's 18 or 20, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's a cool number. But, like, as far as what videos did best and how they went and all, I don't even want to fucking know. I don't even want to know. I just want to do this thing organically, have some cool conversations, meet some cool people, get the word out there, hopefully inspire some people, and fucking see what happens. You know?
Yeah, focusing on viral is not really, doesn't serve your core audience well. Like, let's think about Seacoast. What we do on Seacoast doesn't really get a shitload of views, right?
Right.
But a video that might get 100 views, you'll have people come in the showroom and be like, oh, I saw you on social, I like your presence. Right. So it's like going viral feels good on the ego, but doesn't serve the core group of people that like what you do necessarily.
True, yeah.
So just focusing on the messaging and like the value you bring is what I would say is more important.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that with Seacoast Cabinet's a little different though, because like Seacoast Cabinet social media is not going to bring a customer in the door most of the time. And I think that, being present and brand awareness is really important in that market and in that industry. But a lot of the times, like, people will find you on fucking Google and then see all your other links.
Yeah.
So like Instagram, Facebook, those are more to me just like kind of proving your value. Like, this is who we are. This is what we do.
Yeah.
I don't think it brings in business, but I think that it just solidifies our business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. If you had two posts that looked like shit and someone saw it, something like, they don't
Who's
look
this
like
guy?
that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then they're going to look at another kitchen and bath design company and be like, oh, look at this one. Like, they have a lot of pretty pictures,
And I will say, I'm mostly focused on like local business. So you're kind of you could go like your audience is anywhere.
Yeah.
So, take what I say with a grain of salt, but the value is definitely super important of what you're saying.
The video that I put out that has been the most successful so far was basically how I started a woodworking business. I think that resonated well with people, and there was no script for that. I literally just pressed play on the camera and talked about how I got some of the things we're talking about now.
Yeah.
And it's by far the most successful video.
No,
I
sure.
And
would
the people
say
that probably watched it were people who wanted to start woodworking.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So I would assume that like the people that found that were Googling like, how do I start a woodworking business?
Yeah.
And your channel just came up, and then the more engagement you got, the more your channel came up.
Yeah.
Right. That's how that works.
Is that kind of who you think your audience would be? People wanting to start a woodworking business, or would it be like homeowners who want to do like?
I think it's a 50-50 mix. I think it's people that are just interested in woodworking for the sake of having it as a hobby, and other people that are looking to learn it because they want it to be a side hustle. Side hustle is a big word I see a lot now of people,
So when you're planning a video, think about which one of those two groups is going to make it, and make it to that exact person.
Yeah.
Right? You can't appeal to multiple people in one video usually. So if this is a video that's going to help a homeowner trying to do a weekend task, literally picture a fake person that's a homeowner and like speak to that one person in your head and make it for them. Like it could be your sister at a new, whatever, just someone specific. And then that usually helps you just get the messaging on point.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I like that. I'm going to try that with a podcast too.
Okay.
Thanks for the input, Dick. Helping everybody else except for me over here.
You get the help. Just pay for it.
It's true. Cool, man. What else? So I guess for you, the biggest hurdle is getting the engagement, trying to get the subscribers and that type of stuff. What else? What else is hard about what you're doing now?
Staying true to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Kind of what we just talked about in that it's not a business. I think it's more than a hobby, but it's a passion, and I want to keep it that way. I don't want to turn it into something it's not. I don't want to chase those keywords, start making videos I don't want to make just for the sake of getting views.
Right. Start putting hot ladies on it and shit.
Yeah. Like, I wish I had big boobs because it'd be so much easier to have a successful YouTube channel. But, yeah, like, I don't want to make the channel for the sake of the channel growing. I want to make the channel because I like making it and have it grow as a result.
Yeah. I feel like those are the best businesses, man. But at the end of the day, you have to be okay whether it crashes and burns or does well.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Know what I mean?
And it's a struggle because we're all human. We want success. We want to see things grow.
Right.
And it's real easy to find yourself not paying attention, and all of a sudden you're like, Jesus, for the last month I've been making these videos that I could care less about just to get some numbers.
Yeah.
Who gives a crap?
Who gives a shit? Right. Yeah, I agree with that, man. But at the end of the day, I feel like you feel more gratified if you did it just organically in the way that you wanted to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Instead of, like you said, chasing numbers or putting nice cars or pretty women on it. You know?
Definitely.
Although that might help. Just saying.
Yeah, for sure. I came across one channel the other day it was a woodworking channel. That's all they talked about. And on their thumbnail was like this half naked chick using a table saw or something. I'm like, well, that's awesome. I mean, I can appreciate that. I enjoy it. But what the hell does that have to do with woodworking?
Right.
But it got views. I'm like, hey, why not?
Yeah.
Use what works.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like sex sells, man. Like at the end of the day, sex sells. And if you're going to sell your soul to the devil for that, then fucking have at it.
Yeah,
that's for some people.
Yeah.
But those clips of half naked women, like that's going to get views.
Yeah.
Especially like if you think trades, like especially woodworking, predominantly that's men. Although there's a lot more women coming into the trades than I've seen since I've been in it. But, it's predominantly men. And if they see that clip, they're going to be like, what's this about?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I should pick up a suspender thong or something and give it a whirl.
Wait, suspender thongs came up on the last episode. It's turning into a theme here. I'm going to have to get some.
Unfortunately, yeah.
We're going to get some hand-forged ones and start giving them out to guests. Fuck, I wonder if my guy does that. I'm going to have to ask him. But yeah, hey, I love the T-shirts, but do you do suspender thongs? Can you find those? He can probably find them, though, because my guy that does the fucking T-shirts and all that type of shit can find fucking anything.
Yeah.
Hammer on the front.
I feel like you'd have a lot more success in Europe.
Probably. Yeah, for sure.
I think getting back to the challenges, another big challenge this just came up was learning the video editing software, which actually I thought I was going to despise, but it's kind of I don't get quite as much of a bump as I do the actual woodworking, but I kind of like doing the editing. It's fun to learn. I'm probably doing too much of it. I spend like way too much time creating these fancy animations of having like, the word "the" dance across the channel and stuff, and it takes me 5 hours to do. But I don't know why, but for some reason I enjoy the video editing, so that's become kind of like an added bonus. You could have a whole YouTube channel. I mean, I see hundreds of YouTube channels talking about just video editing and
Have you tried are you using a Mac or a PC?
I'm a PC.
Okay. Well, DaVinci Resolve is another really good one.
Which one?
DaVinci Resolve.
DaVinci Resolve.
It's like a one-time fee instead of monthly. But if you like Premiere, if you've learned it, you stick with it. But like Premiere, I use that and Resolve. Premiere is like you can get in the weeds with all the options.
Oh my God, yeah.
Sometimes Resolve is people like both. If you ever want to waste time on software.
I use CapCut. Whatever.
I've heard of that.
I use it on my phone too.
It's a cell phone app, right?
Yeah. So the video that I made of Mark Collier, what was that last week? That was last week, right?
One, yeah.
I made a cool little video with my buddy Mark, who's a contractor, came on. He was
really?
he was my first guest on the podcast and the first person to be here twice.
Mark. He's a contractor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Collier Home
I
Improvements.
thought you said that name. I thought you were talking about the MIT police officer.
No.
My brother's a police officer. He went to the MBTA Police Academy with a guy named Sean Collier. I'm sorry.
Interesting.
But he was one of the guys that responded when the Tsarnaev brothers did the marathon bombing thing and
Yeah.
the manhunt
We're
afterwards.
on the run.
They ended up going to MIT and they got in a shootout and Sean Collier passed away. My brother went to the academy with him, so I know that name. But
Interesting.
anyway, nothing to do with what you were talking about. So sorry.
Collier's whole family is, I think, firefighters, but I think he does have family that are in the police force.
Maybe they're related.
Yeah, be interesting. I'm going to have to ask him. He's never brought it up. I'd be really upset if he never brought it up to me, but give him shit for it. Yeah, CapCut, that was something that I started messing around with, and I get fucking lost. Like, the amount of videos that I've made that I haven't even posted is pretty ridiculous. But I find the same gratification in, like, making those cool little videos, and, like, just like putting music to it, making sure the music is right and like hits the right points and like slowing things down, speeding them up and like just doing stupid stuff with that. Like I could literally make a video of anything with that and have fun doing it. That's a whole creative process too.
Exactly. I was just say it scratches that creative itch like woodworking does. So I think that's why I kind of, navigate or lean towards it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was there. CapCut's what, TikTok, right?
Yeah. It's TikTok's app, but Instagram is actually putting one out. It's supposed to be just like called Edits.
No shit.
So if it ever gets banned, you can try that one.
Is it going to be like Threads and just fucking bomb?
No, hopefully not. It's like supposed to be a pretty good editing app. It's not. It's like beta now, but
yeah.
I just picked up a TikTok account, trying to get the word out and stuff like that. But I think that's going down the road of too much work.
Yeah.
Like I make a video for YouTube that's enjoyable. Then I start making, because it's totally different, framing. It's the 16.
Well, how long are your YouTube videos? Are they like a few minutes?
I've been averaging like 7 to 15. That's another problem. I think I'm too long with the videos.
So you can take those. No, I mean you could take those. It's called Opus Clip, and it automatically reformats them to like vertical. I've used some of the shorts on the podcast with it, but you upload your clip to it, and it creates you like a bunch of shorts that you can then go in and tweak. It's like $150 a year.
Wow. What's it called again?
Opus Clip.
Opus. I'll have to check that out.
So it automatically reframes it if you shoot wide. So it's a good way to kind of repurpose your YouTube stuff for social media. Yeah. It was built for podcasts. I'm pretty sure you can do it now with like anything. Yeah. But you can probably try it out for free.
Yeah. After doing all the, getting the YouTube video out there, trying to reformat it to all the social media stuff, that was just work. That was not fun.
Oh, yeah. Try Opus Clip.
Okay.
TikTok is one of those things, man. Like I'm up and down with like if I want to use it or how much I want to use it. Like when we first started the podcast, we were using it a ton. My oldest son, he's 20, and he goes down to he's in a college down in South Carolina, and so he works for me 6 to 10 hours a week as my office admin. And I had him. He helped a lot with like getting the podcast up and started and kind of getting things going and shit. And he started a TikTok for it. But it was just like, it's just like you said, dude, it's so much work. And there's so many avenues that you can take. Like you can go TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, fucking X. There's just, it's a full-time job just to keep up with all of those different platforms.
Definitely is.
What I like about CapCut is that I can just create the video on CapCut, and then I have the option of what platforms I want to share it on, and TikTok's one of those. I don't ever use it. I haven't been on TikTok in fucking forever, but when we first started, like, it's good, but you got to think about the demographic that's reaching, and it's like, do I want to hit like, 6 to 12-year-olds? Like, not really. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of stuff that we're talking about is adult shit, like, Yeah. And I don't know what the demographic, what is the large demographic for TikTok? It must be getting older.
It's actually older, yeah. I know a lot of people, real estate agents who are on there. It's geared a little younger than like Instagram. Yeah. I mean, I don't know the numbers, but I would say it's probably like 15-year-olds to like 40-year-olds. Yeah. But
yeah, maybe we'll start fucking with it again. I don't know.
Getting in the weeds of the analytics of my channel, most of my people are 40, 50, 60, 70. Yeah. Like I was surprised, like that there was such a high, it was like 20% in the 65 to 75 age range.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, I'd be happy if I'm still woodworking.
My father-in-law watches a lot of woodworking shit on YouTube. So it's probably like those old dudes who just don't have cable and do woodworking on the side, and they just consume it all day.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that demographic's definitely going to be older. I mean, think about going to Woodcraft. Like when you go to those shows and stuff. I mean, I know when I was going, I was the youngest guy there by fucking 30 years.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, all those guys are much older now. And now all those guys are really starting to find the Facebooks and the YouTube channels. And they're like, oh, this is kind of cool stuff.
Yeah.
You know, now they're sitting in their recliner, fucking retired, with their feet up, fucking watching YouTube channels all day.
Yep.
I would be... I would have been surprised if you didn't have a large demographic at that older age. You know, because just from what I've seen, anyways, definitely like an old man thing.
Yep.
Yep. All right, man. Anything else that we want to get into?
Toolbox tip.
Yeah.
To what?
Toolbox tips. Where we give everybody just the tip, like fucking John and his microphone over there. So toolbox tips, man. It's just kind of practical advice you would give yourself fucking 10 years ago. You know, everything that you know now, both, you know, being in the military and then with woodworking, like, you know, what would that key piece of advice that you give to you 20-year-old you?
Man.
It's a toughie, isn't it?
It is a toughie. Honestly, though, I kind of value living with no regrets, and I'm forever thankful that I'm in the position I'm in now with my woodworking and my family and my life in general. And, you know, looking at where I am now versus where I was 8 years ago when I was at my lowest. So I don't know that I'd change a whole lot. You know, I was pursuing it for the right reasons, and I got into it for the right reasons. And I would say that was the most important thing for me, was doing that. I mean, I would tell myself to not be as hung up on perfectionism and numbers. And, you know, once you start to have a little success, you make some money, you want to make more money. And it's easy to get caught in that cycle, and it's not about that. So I would just remind myself to stay true to myself, do it because I love it. Easier said than done, but that'd probably be my biggest advice. And just be patient. Things don't happen overnight. Definitely, I mean, I would definitely use that advice today with a YouTube channel. I expect it to blow up overnight, and I want, you know, a video to hit 1 million views tomorrow, but it just doesn't work like that. You just got to keep doing what you're doing and stay true to what you're doing. And if it's going to work out, it's going to work out. If not, at least you're having fun doing it.
Have some fun doing it. Yeah, man. Hell yeah. I love that. It's good advice, brother. All right. Well, I think that's it for us. Thanks again for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This has been awesome.
I'm looking forward to seeing that thing grow, man. You know, I was checking out some more of your videos this morning and stuff, and you know, I think that, you know, you're doing it for the right reasons, and you got a good story. I think that you know, it's gonna do what you wanted to do. You know,
awesome.
And anything that we can do to help, as far as, you know, sharing that stuff or making any connections, or if you need any help with anything, just let us know.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for listening, everyone.